20 years. We've never been in a war for 20 years. It's just unfathomable, but we've actually, lived through it, so obviously it's reality.
I was a commanding officer of a Marine Air Control Squadron, and I was on a site survey trip to Korea.
I was in Monterey, California at the Naval Postgraduate School.
And I was in a class called Shaping Chaos, and someone had stepped out in the lobby and then came back in. They had just seen on TV that the first tower had been hit, so in New York. And so that's where I was when I found out the news about then the Pentagon got hit shortly after. And so that's where I was when I found out the news.
At first I couldn't really process, what was the scope of it, what we're actually seeing. And then of course my emotions went certainly right to the victims.
It's important that we take time to remember those who've served and sacrificed in defense of our nation. And especially here at NIWC Atlantic, it hits a little bit closer to home because we lost one of our own teammates, Mr. James Lynch, at the Pentagon on 9/11. So it's important that we take our time and recall as a command and never let his memory pass.
Being a supervisor, it was my responsibility to track him down that day. And of course my calls went unanswered. And so I had to call his house, and eventually I talked to his wife late that evening, and she had not heard from him. So we kind of knew at that point.
We have to keep remembering this event and those folks because it speaks to our mission going forward, how we have to be ready. We have to create the capabilities and make our nation's military as ready as it can be for the unknown. And we have to also really think and cherish the kind of people that step up to serve their country. And that's what our employees do. We all take an oath to the Constitution, to our nation, and we share that sense of service with all the heroes from that day and all the heroes that have come since.
He was quite colorful. He was known for walking around the Pentagon and with his Walkman on, and he had these pockets full of Werther's candies that he would hand out to perfect strangers that he'd see along his walk. I went on a pursuit to have him remembered. And so I worked with legal and finance and the front office to have the command briefing theater dedicated to him. And his picture has been at the quarterdeck before, and then I believe now it's over in 3112 with a write-up about him. So we try to have his memory kind of sprinkled across the campus here.
If we don't remember that, their memory and what they sacrificed for will be lost.
We're all kind of sometimes head down in our particular role, but I think he would have really appreciated how we turned to support the warfighter after 9/11.
We have to be ready, and so the kind of capabilities that our command provides in terms of information warfare and cyber are so critical to try to prevent the next 9/11 type event, even in potentially in the physical domain or in the cyber or information domain, which could be equally as devastating as that attack was.
On behalf of NIWC Atlantic, I'd like to say thank you for all those who've served diligently, who gave, some who gave all on that day, but many, many heroes who were there on that day, helping our nation respond to a crisis, an event that we haven't experienced in so many years. We're greatly appreciative of your support and the sacrifices that were made by so many.